Good morning, greetings friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 32 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis, and while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, comments, success stories you'd like to share, questions about ingredients or formulations, health challenges you or a loved one may be dealing with, we are here for you. We are your go-to source for all things health and nutrition. 844-236-6010. 844-236-6010 is our number. Let us show you how simple and how easy it can be to begin healing the body, to begin allowing the body to heal, allowing the body to recover. That's the whole secret, is that the body wants to heal. The body wants to recover. That's the secret to reversal of chronic degenerative disease, is that the body's looking to grow and recover and get better. That's how the body works. We have to really be jacking up the system with toxicity and malnutrition, among other things, to keep that from happening. So once you get some nutrients in the body, and once you stop the stream of toxicity from getting into the blood through the digestive system, health challenges improve on their own. The body does it on its own. We're not sick, we're starving. And we don't need to be fixed, we need to be fed. We need the raw materials that our body needs to do its work, and we need to provide it with a clean place. And by the body, I mean the cells of the body. And it's not that complicated, and it's not a medical issue. It's a lifestyle issue. Health is about lifestyle. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase Youngevity products, call 866-735-2470 or go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, and you can purchase your favorite Youngevity products. You could also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or you can call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. So, we are talking about the power of fats, dietary fats, specifically as it relates to hormones. If you have an issue with your thyroid, if you have an issue with your estrogen, and autoimmune diseases are almost by definition about estrogen, and inflammatory health challenges of all kinds are pretty much estrogen related. Hypothyroidism is estrogen related. It all boils down to digestive health, especially as it regards how we process and how we digest our fats. And that's why acid in the stomach is so important. That's why digestive enzymes are so important. That's why bile salts and lecithin are so important for everybody, but especially if you're dealing with some health challenge that involves the hormone estrogen, which is, if not every health challenge, pretty much a huge proportion of them. Yeah, a huge proportion of our health issues in this country regard the female hormone estrogen, or more specifically, how it's handled by the body, which is largely about fats, fat absorption, fatty vitamins, essential fatty acids. Do you know your ultimate EFAs, essential fatty acids, act like estrogen? They're like a natural hormone replacement. If you are menopausal, or if you have any kind of estrogenic health issues, you should be taking EFAs all day long, three times a day, 4 times a day. or doing liquid EFAs, tablespoons full of it. And if you can't handle that much oil, if you can't handle that much essential fatty acid, you burp or you have gas or you just don't feel comfortable, that's a classic sign that you're not handling your fats correctly. If you have any kind of issues around burping or just not feeling good after you do fats, that is a major sign, major red flag. Last program I was talking about this poor little girl, 10-year-old little girl, had her period for 9 months. Her first period, first menstrual cycle, sat for 9 months. She's been bleeding. Doctors don't know what to do. Mom's freaked out. I did a little interview with the mom, and turns out the kid has skin problems. The kid had digestive problems her whole life since she was a baby. She had skin problems and she had digestive problems. I'm laughing because it's not funny. It's tragic. How could they miss this? How could everybody miss this? It's a classic sign of fat malabsorption, and it can happen in little kids. And guess what? This little kid is at higher risk for horrible diseases down the road. And on top of all that, they gave her birth control pills, estrogen. Anyway, the whole point I'm trying to make here is if you have any estrogenic health issue, focus first on the digestive system, specifically on the stomach and the intestine. How do you do it? You get on betaine HCl or the ultimate enzymes. You do hydrochloric acid drops. You could do something called pepsin, P-E-P-S-I-N, HCl capsules with all your meals, this is. And then also apple cider vinegar. It wouldn't hurt you to do an enzyme called pancreatin, which is pancreatic enzyme. By absolutely positively get on a good probiotic supplement, get on the nightly essence, or make sure you're eating fermented foods, lots of veggies, fiber. This is for all health challenges that involve the hormone estrogen, which is a huge proportion of health challenges. If you have noticed that you are bloated or gassy after meals or after specific foods, lay off those foods. We talked about SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Do not underestimate the incredible health relevance of the bacteria that live in the small intestine and estrogen. They're processing estrogen. Once you're into SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, which you'll know basically by gas and digestive pain, cramping after specific foods, especially sugar foods, or heartburn for that matter. That's another one, GERD. You got SIBO. Work on that. Fasting is one. If you're not sure what to do, fast. Hit the reset button. If you're not sure what to do, stop everything. You will notice that you feel better. If you have any kind of issues in the intestine or in the stomach where you feel discomfort periodically throughout the day, especially after foods, you'll notice you're going to feel better. If you have an inflammatory health issue that involves these kinds of things, you're going to notice you feel better. Your arthritis will get better. Your brain fog will clear up. Your chronic pain will get better. Fibromyalgia and also, for that matter, chronic fatigue syndrome, both of which affect women 90% of the time, are classic examples of estrogen. If you have chronic pain all over your body or you're chronically fatigued all over your body, fast. It's the first thing you want to do. Oh, I can't fast, Ben. It's too much. Well, then just do chicken broth or celery, better even, just a celery juice. Get a thing called, I just bought this thing called a Blend Jet. It's like $39, and it's a very high-powered blender. It's not like a Vitamix or anything, but it's super portable. You can carry it around with you. Blend Jet, just like it sounds. BLENDJET. Super handy. If you can't fast, just throw a cucumber in that thing and make a cucumber concentrate with some water maybe, and then use that cucumber concentrate to flavor other water, distilled water. And then sip on that, and you'll get your electrolytes. If you can't fast, fasting's the best. Or when I say fast, I mean a water fast. So anyway, estrogen is behind so much. And by the way, there's a very interesting relationship between estrogen and insulin. Yes, between your blood sugar and your estrogen. Lots of little connections there. For one thing, estrogen is made in fat cells, and insulin makes you fat, and estrogen is inflammatory, and fat cells produce other inflammatory chemicals. So the more insulin you're making, the more body fat you're carrying, the more inflamed you're going to be. Very important connection. Another really important connection in the triangle. It's the second point of the triangle to the third point of the triangle. This relationship between blood sugar, insulin, and the stress hormone, growth hormone, estrogen. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you, and we will get your calls in our next segment. On the bright side, we love taking calls from our smart listeners. And, of course, if you have a success story you'd like to share, we love hearing those. 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. If you want to purchase Youngevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Got news stories and blog posts at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. Or you can call 866-735-2470 if you want to order products from a real live human being. And also want to remind you to come by our lab, if you're in the Denver area anyway, come by our lab at 2240 Curtis Street in Denver tomorrow. That is Saturday at 11, Saturday the 29th of September. I always got to remember to say the dates here for these events. The 29th of September, we'll be doing a talk on skin health, specifically on acne. I'm going to be doing these talks every 4 to 8 weeks, be doing a talk on skin health. We did one on general skin health strategies maybe a month ago. And then we're going to do one tomorrow on acne, why you never have to have it. Acne is not a skin condition, it's a health condition. And dealing with acne is a health challenge. Not a medical challenge, but a health challenge. There's nothing a dermatologist can do for your acne, but there's lots we can do ourselves. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. That's at 2240 Curtis Street, Denver, 80205. All right, so we're talking about this whole idea of fats and estrogen and digestive problems. If you have health challenges, inflammatory health challenges, pretty much by definition, you're dealing with an estrogen issue, an estrogen processing issue. Of course, the more estrogen you produce, the more overwhelmed your estrogen detox system is going to be. We have problems with xenoestrogens today, estrogens in cattle. Probably the biggest problem with estrogens, with elevated estrogen levels, which of course burden the processing system, as I say. The biggest problem is fat, body fat. Estrogen is made in body fat and other inflammatory chemicals. Nobody ever talks about this. Inflammatory chemicals are made in body fat. Immune chemistry is in body fat. So when more fat you're carrying, the more inflammatory chemicals you're going to be secreting, the more likely you're going to be to inflame. And estrogen plays into this whole thing, and so does insulin. There's a lot of similarities in terms of the effects in the body between estrogen and insulin. Both of them promote growth. Both of them promote fat storage. Both estrogen and insulin promote fat storage. The more sugar you're eating, the more estrogenic you're going to be. The more sugar you're eating, the less masculine you'll be, the less testosterone you're going to have. That's not to say that women want to eat lots of sugar, because women don't want to be producing high amounts of estrogen, but men especially, you got all these testosterone builders. Everybody wants to know what to do to build testosterone. Anything you do that supports sugar metabolism, that sensitizes your insulin, is going to support testosterone, is going to support male hormone. We are domesticated by our foods. There's a reason why you see carbs. I'm not going to go all conspiratorial here, but there could very well be a reason why you see bread everywhere and carbs everywhere. And it's so easy to get bready, starchy, insulinogenic foods that spike insulin, not to mention sweets and sugar. We're being domesticated by our processed foods. They make us more estrogenic. Our food supply makes us more feminine. It makes us more estrogenic. It makes us too feminine, at least from a hormonal perspective, if we're a woman, and that's why you have estrogenic cancers, which are the leading causes of cancer, especially colon cancer and breast cancer and prostate cancer for that matter. So you got these estrogenic cancers for women, and then you have a feminization for men, lack of fertility. And estrogen's a stress hormone. It activates the stress response. It's just a big mess is what I'm saying here. Fasting is a great strategy. Helping your body process fats is a great strategy. Making sure you're using acidifiers in the stomach to keep everything moving downstream. That's probably the first strategy to leverage that you want to leverage. First health strategy that you want to leverage for all female health issues: acidification of the stomach. From the journal Annals of Internal Medicine, November 1942, quote, "It is well recognized that anemia and hypochlorhydria, that means low stomach acid, are frequently present in patients with hypothyroidism." What is this telling you? If you don't process your hormones at the level of the stomach and the intestine, you're going to mess up your thyroid. Achlorhydria, low stomach acid, constipation, incomplete digestion, and hypothyroidism, and estrogenic health challenges. They all go together. It's like a syndrome. Syndrome is a umbrella state of the body that covers lots of micro states, smaller states that always go together. Low stomach acid, constipation, incomplete digestion, hypothyroidism, gassy bloatiness you could add to the list, estrogen problems, menstrual problems, they all go together. And if you have a thyroid problem, and I've said this several times already, but it's important, there's nothing your doctor can do. It is the craziest thing to try to go to the doctor if you have a thyroid problem. It's crazy. There's nothing they can do. What good is it going to do you? You get your Synthroid. Maybe catch a little buzz from your Synthroid. You're not helping your thyroid. Liver function tests are often up to 50% of people with hypothyroidism, according to Isabella Wentz. She calls herself the thyroid pharmacist. And guess what, by the way? Hypothyroidism and hypothyroidism also, and gallstones go together, and hypothyroidism and elevated cholesterol go together. Well, you add those to the syndrome. Hashimoto's patients are 5 times more likely to have celiac disease. 5 times more likely to have celiac disease. And that's full-blown celiac disease. If you throw in all digestive problems, it's 100 times more likely. I'm making that up, but it's way more likely. They go hand in hand. All this means that if you're eating your bread and your pasta and your sugar, you're not only going to be compounding your problems, you're not only going to be making matters worse, but this is really where it gets to be problematic, is once you start to inflame the intestine, you end up with malabsorption of nutrients. You end up functionally starving. Can you see how this can tumble out of control? And just imagine this happening over the course of months and years and decades, your entire life. You're 40 or 50 years old. It's been going on your entire life. Of course, autoimmune diseases are going to happen. Of course, sickness and illness is going to happen. And that's the bad news. But the good news is that we can take care of it ourselves. This is such good news. If you are dealing with any kind of health challenge, this would be the best news. This is the bright side. No matter what your health challenge is, because these levels of breakdown are so fundamental, they're so built into the body, these levels of breakdown, and because they all involve our lifestyle choices, once you make a few changes in your lifestyle, you could make dramatic changes in how your body shows up. Dramatic. That's why they get off gluten. That's one little thing. They get off gluten, and everything changes. And that's just one little thing. And that's why gluten has has got this notoriety as being responsible for pretty much all health challenges. And it's not. There's many more problematic elements in foods. But once people get off gluten, just that one little move, the most incredible life-modifying changes take place. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll return right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. Got lots of lines open at 844-236-6010. I am Pharmacist Ben, and we're on the air Monday through Friday on The Bright Side, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive pages at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. You'll also find blog stories, videos, news stories on all our websites. Lots of free health information, and of course, you'll also find the Youngevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. You can click on the Join the Team link as well if you want to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team. We'll be doing a talk this tomorrow, September 29th at 2240 Curtis Street. That's the Truth Treatments Skincare Lab, 2240 Curtis Street in Denver, Colorado. And we'll be doing that from 11 to 1. We're going to talk about acne. If you're in the Denver area, love to see you there. 844-236-6010 is our number. Get to a couple stories, then we'll get your phone calls from the UK. The United Kingdom. Crime and nourishment. Link between food and offending behavior. It is well known that eating a balanced diet is of vital importance for maintaining good health and well-being. Alarmingly, research shows that over half the food items available for purchase in some prisons in the UK and the US are high in fat and sugar. It's also been suggested that U.S. prison food has been described as scant, joyless, and unsavory. Deficiencies in vitamins and minerals can lead to a number of issues. Deficiencies in iron, magnesium, and zinc can lead to increased anxiety, low mood, and poor concentration, leading to attention deficits. Not just prisons. The reason why people go to prison sometimes, I believe, is partially, at least somewhat, due to nutritional deficiencies. Zinc deficiency is known to cause aggressive behavior. How many people are just going through life irritable, anxious, short-tempered, and it's based on nutritional deficiencies, and nobody knows it? I thought this many times, that our prisons are at least partially filled up with people who's just suffered from nutritional deficiencies or poor diets. Okay, from the journal Neuroimage. Oh no, I read this one yesterday. The warm glow of kindness is real, study confirms. Kindness is such a powerful, powerful mechanism for activating the reward center. The reward center is associated with increases in growth hormone, better immunity, better growth and repair, reduction in or a slowdown in the aging process. All right, let's do one more and we'll get your phone calls, 844-236-6010. Weight loss can be boosted 5-fold thanks to novel mental imagery technique. Overweight people who used a new motivational intervention called functional imagery training, FIT. How cute is that? Functional imagery training, also known as FIT, lost an average 5 times more weight than those taking therapy alone. I'm not sure what that means, but using imagery enhanced weight loss therapy is what they're trying to say. This is really important because we have so much power over our bodies by what we think, by what we picture, in association by what we feel. This is the mental and emotional component of SMEP, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. And while we talk all the time about the physical stuff here in this program, I don't think we talk anywhere near enough about the mental side of things, this imagery side. Professional athletes have known for decades that when they use mental imagery techniques, they can catch more passes or hit more baseballs or return more serves or have a lower handicap, whatever. Professional athletes use these imagery techniques all the time. We all use imagery techniques, but for the most part, they're unconscious. We don't pay attention. So our imagery techniques are on default. When your brain is on default, things happen that aren't so great because the brain is a survival system. It's here to help us survive. And survival and thrival do not necessarily correspond. What is good for our survival is not necessarily good for our thrival, and our brain on default will always go to survival, not thrival. If you want to thrive in all manner, you've got to learn how to master the mental aspects of livingness, of being alive. And one of the key elements is mental imagery. Picturing what you want. You can actually hypnotize yourself by picturing what you want clearly enough. Isn't it interesting how, and you can experiment with this yourself, how hard we find it sometimes to image good things, to image wonderful things, to image beautiful things. When we image beautiful things, we feel so much better, but there's almost like this pull that forces us to image the negative stuff. That's the brain on default. That pull, that resistance to, and almost everybody has it, that resistance to imaging good things, that tendency to image bad things is based on the brain's survival mechanism. Because obviously the bad things are survival threats. So the brain is always scanning for bad things when it's on default. And it's always imagining the worst. It's always picturing the worst. What do you think that does? Obviously, if imaging good stuff can be used to win the Super Bowl. Imaging bad stuff could very likely be responsible, or at least partially responsible or involved in the crappy stuff. All right, 844-236-6010. Got lines open, time to hit the phones. Let's go to Diane in California. Good morning, Diane. What's up?
Yes, thanks for taking my call. I'm calling because I have a bump. It's a painful feeling bump, a solid feeling between my stomach and groin. I first felt it 8 days ago. I believe it's a food blockage, but I'm still having the bowel movements that I usually have.
Could it be a hernia? Could it be a hernia?
I don't really know, actually.
You need to have that look. You need to have that looked at. I wouldn't be messing around with that. Yeah. Is it? Now we say it's hard. Does it? You can't push it back in?
Well, let's see. I might be able to, but it's painful.
Yeah, it could very well be a hernia. If it is, and it's sticking out like that, that can cause something called strangulation, which could be a really big problem if things get tangled up in there. I'd be absolutely happy having that checked.
Oh, okay. Well,
especially if it hurts.
What would a doctor do about it?
Well, you might need surgical intervention. That could be one thing.
Okay.
You know, if something's out of place mechanically like that, that's not necessarily something that you're going to take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine for. You know, when something's out of place mechanically and something pops out, and I wouldn't be messing around with that.
Okay. Now, I've had something like this before in the same position, but it was soft.
It went away?
I could move it back and forth with my fingers, and there was no pain.
That sounds like a hernia. That sounds like a hernia to me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Well, is there something I can try to do?
No, it's a hole. You basically have a hole in your connective tissue.
Oh, okay.
All the stuff in your body is embedded in like Jell-O, basically, and that's connective tissue. Once that connective tissue breaks down, things poke through. That's a hernia. It's a sign the connective tissue is breaking down. It's very common. It's just how we live our life. I mean, it's just the food we eat, and it's just the way our world is. But it's something. If it is a hernia, it's not a big deal. But you definitely want to have it looked at and maybe taken care of.
Okay. What type of doctor do I see?
You can go to a hernia specialist. That's what I would do. Look up hernia specialists wherever you are.
May I leave my email number with your staff?
Yeah, of course. You want me to? What are you thinking? Just shoot me an email, ben@ksco.com. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Diane. Take care.
Aging.
Okay, we are back on the bright side. 844-236-6010. 844-236-6010 is our number, and we do have lines open for you. Let's go to Hawaii and say good morning to Kelly Kina. Is that right? Did I say that okay? Kelly Kina?
Yeah, Kelly Kwana.
Kelly Kwana. What's going on in Hawaii today?
Waiting for the sun to come up.
Oh, it's still early morning there. What time is it there? It's like 4 hours before us. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you called early in the morning. It must be beautiful. What part of Hawaii are you in?
In Maui.
Okay, lucky you. So what's going on? How can we help you today?
I'm working with wet macular degeneration, diagnosed about 1.5 years ago.
I'm very sorry. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I can't. Can you speak more clear in the phone? I don't have a great connection, so we don't have a good connection. So speak a little bit.
Working with wet macular degeneration.
Ah, okay.
Diagnosed about 1.5 years ago.
Is it for you? Are you saying yourself, or you have a patient? You know somebody, or is it you?
Me.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk about wet. Oh, do you have more?
I've been using the Youngevity product for about 16 months and haven't had the results that I was hoping for.
Okay, good. So let's take care of that for you. Okay. Couple things. First of all, I meant to say this to our last caller about the hernia. The best way to take care of a hernia is to prevent it, and that's where your bone broth protein comes in. Your bone broth, your our collagen recovery complex, which you can get at truthtreatments.com, high hyaluronic acid, silica. All of these are very important for helping build connective tissue, and that's your strategy, not only for preventing a hernia, but if you have surgery, post-surgery, you want to be doing all of those things. So that's for our last caller. I meant to say that. And then for Kalakina, wet macular degeneration, right? So let's talk about that. First of all, wet macular degeneration is just kind of, there's no difference between dry macular degeneration and wet macular degeneration in terms of what you're doing to take care of the body. Macular degeneration is just degeneration. It's not the macula, that's the operative word, it's the degeneration. Macula is just a part of the eye. So the center part of the eye, actually. So if you have macular degeneration, you don't want to worry about the macula, you want to worry about the degeneration. That means you got to rebuild your body.
Right.
So Kalakina, you understand what I'm saying? So it's not like, the Vision FX and the Octative, they contain nutrients that are important for eye health. But as long as you have this degenerative condition, whether it's wet or whether it's dry, it doesn't matter. It's just a degenerative condition. It's atrophy. You know what I mean when I say atrophy?
Correct.
It's like, did you ever break your leg or break your arm and have a cast on your leg or arm for 6 weeks? Did that ever happen to you, Kalakina?
No.
Okay. Well, if you ever have a cast on your leg, many of the listeners will know what I'm talking about, or your arm or whatever, and they take the cast off, your leg hasn't been moved for six weeks or whatever. It's degenerated. It's atrophied. It's thin and flabby, right? That's your macula. Your macula that's what macular degeneration is. It's atrophy of the macula. So what you got to do is you got to start building it back up again. But you're not going to build up the macula just specifically. You're going to build up the entire body. And then the body will direct. You get that, right? Okay, so what do you do to build up the body? Well, it's every single thing we talk about here on this program, and it starts on the digestive system. This is a really great question because it exemplifies how we tend to talk in diagnoses when we're sick or when we're not as healthy as we should be. We tend to talk in diagnoses. We don't say that the body is just breaking down and deteriorating. We say, I have macular degeneration, or I have multiple sclerosis, or I have hidradenitis suppurativa, or we name the flavor of our deterioration. You with me? Forget the flavor. The flavor is called there for specialists. This is why we have specialists to take care of the flavor. They don't take care of the ice cream. They take care of the flavor. We want to take care of the ice cream, not the flavor. The ice cream is the body's breaking down. So what do? Number one, you patch up the gut, because as long as the gut is broken down, you're not going to be able to build. Toxicity will get into the blood, nutrition won't. So as long as the gut is inflamed, as long as there's any, and when I say the gut, I mean the intestine. As long as the intestine is inflamed, leaky, has the wrong type of bacteria in it, any problems at that level, it's going to be impossible to build. Or much more difficult to build. So focus there first. And it doesn't sound like, oh, well, I have an eye problem. Why would I fast? I have an eye problem. Why would I do a food diary? I have an eye problem. Why would I? Why? You know what I'm saying? We have to make that leap by seeing the whole system as a whole. So you focus there. If you have any issues with the stomach acid, now, I guarantee you're not doing any of this, right? Right, Kalakina? You're not doing anything. That's why that's why I think this is an important question, because you're probably trying to target the eye. I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying this is why we don't get the results we want. We're not focusing on the soil. We're focusing on the leaves. So anyway, digestive system, get on the nightly essence, use your ultimate enzymes with all of your meals, apple cider vinegar with all of your meals. I mean, that's the same thing we talk about here all the time. Then the blood sugar. Macular degeneration and blood sugar problems go hand in hand. Eye problems, whether it's glaucoma or macular degeneration or whatever, eye problems and elevated blood sugar or dysglycemia, messed up blood sugar, go hand in hand. So you got to focus on the blood sugar system. Use your sweeties, your ultimate niacin. Lay off of starchy, sugary, sweet foods. Anything that spikes your insulin. Interestingly, fat isn't going to spike your insulin. And fat's very important for healing and building. So make sure you're doing quality fat, not crappy fat, but good quality fat. Butter is especially a good quality fat. Eggs are especially a good quality fat. Eggs are probably one of the most important foods for building. And if you could do eggs, you should be doing them every day, 2 or 3 eggs every day. I mean, you don't want to eat to the point where you're sick of them, But you just want to make sure that you're leveraging the power that's in the egg. And then making sure that you have enough connective tissue building protein. I talked about how important the connective tissue is. The connective tissue not only connects things, it feeds the cells. So the eye cells and the macula are fed by the connective tissue. So making sure you're using your bone broth protein. Making sure you're doing bone broth and chicken broth itself. The difference between bone broth and bone broth protein is one is just the protein. The bone broth has other things in it as well. Very important for building. Make sure you're on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Eating lots of pigments. Pigments are very important for the eyes and the skin, for that matter. So making sure you're doing lots of veggies. Getting on anything that's any kind of pigment powder. Youngevity has a product called, I forgot what it's called. But it's a pigment powder. Ask your Youngevity rep or call 866-735-2470. I forgot what the name of that product was. But it's a bunch of pigments. You know what I mean when I say pigments? Like the reds and the blues and the greens. Right? So anything that's pigments. That's why you always want to mix fats with your vegetables, by the way. When you put fats in with your vegetables, the pigments are released, and the nutrients and they become more available for the eye and for delivery into the blood and into the various organs of the body, especially the eye and the skin. And then antioxidants, things like vitamin E, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C, of course, selenium. These are all specifically important as antioxidants, and of course the eyes are subject to a lot of oxidation. But again, you're going to be taking these things not just for the eyes, you're going to be taking these things for overall antioxidation, but they will have a lot of benefits for the eyes for oxidation. And then if you got any stress going on, any psychological or mental or emotional stressors going on, those need to be taken care of and addressed, because under conditions of emotional and mental duress, we don't heal and we don't grow. And tissue atrophies. And that's, don't underestimate the importance of that. I'm sure you're not, Kelakina. But you see how there's all of these things to do, and very little is really targeting the eye. And so if you're not getting the results that you want, the chances are pretty good that you haven't addressed all of these other dimensions that don't seem like they're related to the eyes. You know what I mean? It doesn't make, it's not a easy, intuitive leap. It's counterintuitive. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I've done pretty much, a lot of those things. No sugars, no grains.
You're missing something. Look for maybe malabsorption. You're missing something, and I would guess it's malabsorption at the level of the gut. That's usually the culprit when it comes to these kinds of problems that don't go away or where you don't notice improvement. Kelakina, God bless you, my friend. Got to motivate. That's all the time we have for today on The Bright Side. Please check out our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for all the Youngevity products. And if you're in the Denver area, hope to see you tomorrow at 2240 Curtis Street in Denver, 80205. We're going to talk about acne and adult acne, why you should never have it. And we'll also be giving away some Beyond Tangy Tangerine as well. So hope to see you there. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.